All right, y'all, what's up? We are here for episode 11. Episode 11, and Bree is about to get it. She about to get reamed in a minute. But if y'all are new here, hit subscribe. Do that real quick. I almost forgot what I was about to say. Thumbs up the video like y'all been doing. Y'all been killing it this season. Get in the comments, hype the video, share the video, subscribe if you're new again. I know y'all gonna have some thoughts about Bree just like I am. Connor, you deserve better. You dodged the bullet. You didn't realize it then. I hope you realized it now. I hope we get to that reunion. And don't hear that you got back with Bree or are trying to make it work, but we about to get to it. Let's go. All right, so we start this episode 4 days until the weddings. We got Bree and Connor on a date on a train. They're talking about being domesticated and whatnot. They talk about their time with her dad. And she's like, I mean, I knew my dad would come in being super critical or whatever. And Connor's smiling, stating at this point, like, we were good. Like, me and your dad, we had good rapport and whatnot. She's asking, like, are you laughing because you're happy? Or are you laughing at me? I'm like, he's happy. Like, he ain't ever done nothing to make you think that he would be laughing at you. But he pretty much talks about, like, me and your dad are a lot alike. And I feel like your dad can see me as, like, some normal guy. And we just have an easy flow of conversation. But they start talking about how much she wants him. And Bree's talking about how much she wants him. And, like, just seeing all of this stuff and seeing what you do for me, I just want you even more. A bunch of bullshit. But he then states that instills more confidence in him hearing that from her. But she was like, at this point, I feel like you're not getting the best of me. So basically, she's telling him that she's not giving him everything that she could be giving him. And she was like, the fact that you love me and are in love with me when I'm not my best self, it makes me feel good about myself, which is all the proof that Connor's just too good for her. But he then says at this point, there will be days where you just might need your resets and stuff. And I understand that. I won't take offense to it. Just come in and just like hug me, kiss me, give me a good kiss and whatever. Smile, like just be present. I know you probably gonna be going through stuff. You're gonna be stressed on certain days, but I know that I love you and I know that you love me. At least he thinks that. But he's just a good dude. And I wrote that down right here. I'm like, he's just a good dude. I say he's a good person, and she would be lucky to actually have somebody like him in her life. This is before I knew what happened at the end. But he then states at the end of the day, he said that when I needed you, you've always been there for me, and that means the world to me. He tells her how much he falls more in love with her every single day, yada, yada, yada. And she then talks about how she loves him and what she loves about him and whatnot. She states that hearing her friends talking about when you know, like when you find that person, you just know. And she's stating up and down that she had butterflies and heart palpitations when they were in the pods talking and whatnot. She fell in love with him, and if it wasn't him, it would be nobody. I wrote in here, please. I wrote that in parentheses as I was watching this, not realizing what was going to happen later on. But she talks about how much he loves her and brings her flowers every day. She's just going on and on about the things that she likes about him. He's smiling. His face is red as shit. He's blushing as she's talking about him to him. You too good for her. You too good for her. But they cheers to their last day in the experience. It's probably their last date, but we'll see. But Emma and Mike, they're having their date. They're playing at the zoo with the animals. They sit down. She's pretty much talking about wanting to have shared experiences with him, like them two together as a couple. And then maybe we can actually do that with kids. You can still tell that she's trying to say this stuff, forcing herself to believe it. The more she states it, she's hoping to believe that this is in fact what her future is. We know it's not. But he was like, I mean, I couldn't agree more, but you said family, so have you been thinking more about it? He's starting to get excited of the thought of her actually wanting to create a family with him, aka bringing in some kids. It's not going to happen, but she's stating like, I have been thinking about it. She's like, you are 100% the right person for me and the right partner for me. I feel safe and stable and confident around you, and I'm continuing to be more open-minded. Her stating this is what he wanted to hear, considering the fact that she stated the only way she's even going to consider having kids is if she's 100% comfortable and 100% certain on that particular person. So for her to be stating 100% with him, he's starting to think that she will actually want to have kids. Not going to happen. I don't believe it. But she's sitting there constantly talking about how she can see a family with him and whatnot, but she starts getting distracted by any and everything around because she's forcing it. Like, it's not natural for her. She's trying to tell him what she wants or what she knows that he wants to hear. And she knows she don't believe it herself. Like, she's forcing it. But Brittany and Devontae, they're on their date in what looks to be a cabin. Nice date. They're in the hot tub pretty much recapping their experience. They get up and go inside. And she's like, he's the first person that she's ever met that is worth giving up her independence for. I said, no, he's not. But he then starts telling us that there's still things that he's worried about. So they're giggling in the scene and whatnot. And he starts talking about how like everything's great. everything is amazing and he still needs time to sit because getting married is a big decision and it's starting to weigh on him in a good way, but he has to sit in his thoughts and go ghost. AKA, I don't want you talking to me for at least a good day. I'm like, you're 4 days out from your wedding and you don't want to talk to your fiance. It's because you don't want her. Like, he's trying to figure out a way to get out. So he then tells her that there will be a day where he's unreachable. She's already clearly looking bothered, obviously. And she ends up asking, like, are you feeling like you might not say yes? He starts stuttering. He's like, I mean, I'm about 98% there. I said the other 2% is the fact that you are black and Latina. He ain't say it, but I said it for him. But she then says, I mean, I told you my biggest fear is getting it down to the aisle and it being a no. And she's like, I mean, I see myself saying yes. We know you do, but you should already know that he's not going to say yes. You already know that. And it's like, can I 100% be upset and aggravated with Devontae? No, because Brittany, these signs are right here in your face and you're still continuing to go along with it. And at the end of the day, the only person that's going to be hurt is you because he knows what he's about to do. You know what he's about to do, but you trying to just avoid seeing the signs. But she then says like her trying on her wedding dress again was exciting for her. Like it made her even more excited because she sees herself marrying him because you just want to get married. That's just why you bought that dress. Like regardless of who you met in the experience, as long as you had somebody, you was going to get married. But she then said, you're saying, she was like, are you saying yes at the altar? And he says, I mean, there's one thing that I do want to talk about. Someone had told me that at the dress fitting that they had heard that you pretty much were talking about like how I don't kiss you and I don't tell you how you're pretty enough. And I was pissed because it's clear we're being talked about again in this type of light in a negative way. I said, because you're probably not doing it and you already know that that's the truth. And you already know that it comes across negatively as you're her fiance and you can't even tell her these type of things. You know that it comes across negatively because it is negative. It is negative. The fact that you can't tell your fiance this type of stuff, you know what it looks like. That's why you feel that type of way. But she then states that they asked like what you would say if you saw me in that dress and how you would react and whatnot. Obviously, that's what they would ask. And she was like, I mean, you're just not the type of person that really talks about stuff like that. I believe he is that type of person. He just can't bring himself to state it when it comes to her. Like, it's just what it is. But he then says there's one more thing. So he then states, like, I know all the sacrifices that I've made to get to where I am right now. And I don't ever want to lose that. And I'm like, he's about to ask her about a prenup. And then he brings it up. Prenups. He says, I don't think we've talked about this in the pods, which I feel like you should have. In this particular instance, I don't see anything wrong with him wanting to get a prenup. And I don't feel like she should see anything. Well, it's like in this particular situation, the reason why I say I don't see anything wrong with it is because y'all have only known each other for 4 weeks. And at this point, it's protecting himself and it's also protecting her as well. At this point, y'all need to sign the prenup because y'all are not going to last and y'all are not going to make it. So at this point, keep your money. Both of you keep your own money. But he ends up asking her that. And typically, like I said, in a normal situation, I'd be like, because if you've been together for a certain amount of time, you should trust that person to be at that point where I know that I'm going to be good when it comes to you. At this point, I don't feel like us sharing money is an issue or sharing our finances is an issue. But he then says at this point, it's for me to feel good in my own space. It's not directed at you. She was like, I mean, you're entitled to that. You built the life that you have, but I don't know. It's like, I don't want to be married to somebody that feels like they have to protect themselves from me, which I understand. But like I said, y'all are 4 weeks into this experience. And you already know that this man is waiting for the out. He's waiting for the out. I feel like he said this for sure, because he knew she'd be questioning it. But he then says, I mean, I don't think that people tend to be spiteful until they have the opportunity to do that. And I'm like, he's basically telling you he don't trust you. So she then states, I'm not spiteful. That's never who I would be. But he's like, I mean, sometimes, I mean, at this point, I just don't know, but this is how I feel. So she's like, is this you stating that you want one? And he was like, it would make me feel more comfortable. She says, I mean, you could have brought it up sooner, which he could have. But he was like, I mean, at this point, I didn't want to go too quickly into talking about a prenup, which I feel like you should have. In this particular experience, and when I say in this experience, I'm talking about Love is Blind, that shit should be brought up. I feel like it should be. Because at this point, like, you need to make it clear about what you expect when it comes to getting married in the guise of this, even though this is supposed to be long term. But you already know you can't trust people. Like, you can't trust people, especially here. So you got to make sure that you at least are very upfront about everything. Talking about this shit 3 days before you get married is crazy to me. It should have already been brought up. But she ends up asking if she wasn't comfortable. Is that like a deal breaker? And he's like, I mean, I don't know. You know. But she's like, at this point, I'll just have to decide. And she was like, I mean, it feels like at this point, you feel like you have a plan to not always fight for it. It's like the signs are so clear. When it comes to these women on here, a lot of these women are ignoring the red flags. She's ignoring them. Alex is ignoring them. Now, Connor on the men's side was ignoring them with Bree. But he then states, I'm here for a reason. You know, I'm not a quitter. I'm asking for it right this second. But I mean, if we're life partners, we need everything on the table. And she then claims that his actions have shown that it's worth staying in this relationship. I said, what actions? What actions has she shown you that shows that? But Amber and Jordan, theirs was pretty simple. Like, they're at Emma's favorite place, which is called Otherworld, which is like an otherworld in like, I guess, what do you call that stuff? It's very nice. Y'all know what it is if you watched it. But Amber's like, she told her daughter that they were going to be going there. She's like, I want to come. And she was like, I promise that we'll go once you meet Jordan. And they sit down and talk about pretty much seeing Emma on Saturday, which is the wedding, which I'm thinking, considering the math. And that's when Jordan's going to meet her. I said, Amber, you gonna have him meet your daughter the day of your wedding? That was odd. Y'all tell me how y'all feel about that. But Amber got a toy at the Otherworld place, and she plans on having Jordan give her that toy, which I guess this is one of Emma's favorite toys. But Ashley and Alex, they're in the cabin. He got her coming in her blindfold. They sit down. They have a date on the floor. It's candlelit. It's very romantic, nicely done. I'm pretty sure Alex didn't think of this. I'm pretty sure this is definitely production. But of course, they're talking about sex and whatnot. And they then start talking about low vibrational shit. So she then ends up asking him, like, what's one goal that you have planned for our first year in marriage? And what do you think he said? Traveling out of the country. Do you not do that shit all the time because you have no home? You have no home. You would think he would say something different. And I'm like, you need to say, get a job. Like, my first year in our marriage, I want to have a job with income coming in. I want to be stationed in one particular place where we can actually set foundation, possibly get ready to start having a family, talking about that. She says what I just said. She said, I would love to be knowing where we're living. Like, I want to be in one place, start having those roots. She's like, I don't want to scare you stating that. And I said, the fact that you feel like you're scaring him by stating that you want to be secure is proof that you don't need to marry this man. You're ready for that. He's clear. It's clear he's not. He wants to go travel the world, run from the feds, but like, get out of here. But he then states, it's not that. I just want to be in a place where I'm not thinking about other places. We know why you're thinking about other places. But she ends up asking what questions he has for her. This was the most telling thing in the world. And you know she didn't pick up on it. He was struggling to think of a question to ask his fiance. The woman that you're supposed to be in love with, you don't know what to ask her. You don't know how to strike up conversations. And not only that, he's laying on the floor looking forward. She's laying on the floor, body language pay attention to that body language. She's inward to him as he's laying there facing this way, not even looking at her. She's looking at him the whole time they're talking. He's not doing. Ashley, wake up. But they start talking about her pretty much trying on her wedding dress, because that's what he asked. And they start talking about what they love about each other. Yawn. But she then asks how confident he is about saying yes. And he's like, he feels good. And he's like, I mean, I feel like we're where we're supposed to be. And I feel like we've been on the same page for a while. I said, have you? But he then states that there's excitement. It's a life-changing decision. But everything goes back to soccer. I said, here we fucking go. I don't believe he was good. The way he talks about it, it's like a dream that you wish that you had, for real. But he ends up making a soccer analogy, of course. She starts talking about his confidence in choosing her is what actually sold her on him, because she apparently was a second choice all the time, typically. But they cheers. They don't make eye contact. She's like, you're going to be having 7 years of bad sex. And he's like, well, you're going to be having it with me. I said, Amber, get up out of there. Amber, Ashley, get up out of there. Get up out of there. But Christine and Vic, their date was very much like normal, like very short. They had the shortest segment when it came to their dates. But they're at the spa. Same conversation as always. They're super confident in each other. They don't have any doubts, but I love hearing how they talk about each other, because you could tell they seem like they get it. They seem like they actually are speaking from the heart when it comes to each other. Obviously, when he was speaking to her, she was getting emotional. yeah, I mean, that's all we really got from them. I don't want to call them boring, but they just seem too good to be true. They seem too good to be true, and I'm believing it right now. I hope they're the only couple that I can really root for this season. But we'll see where they are at the at the reunion. So we'll see. But so far, so good. They look good. But 2 days until the weddings, we got Bree and Connor at the apartment. So they're recapping the experience. And she starts talking about how she knows that she can give him so much more because she hasn't been giving him the best her. So she starts getting emotional, talking about how hearing her family and friends stating that Connor is not getting the best version of her. And that hurts, and it's tough to hear say out loud. Which I'm like, the fact that her own parents and her friends are stating this, that was the telltale sign. Even though we already knew that Bree was really playing it up when it came to Connor, she really wanted Chris, which is crazy because the shit that she starts stating, we're gonna get to it. But he then states that it's powerful. Even your worst version of you, I'm still obsessed with you. Which proves that he just loves her for her. And she don't deserve that. I ain't gonna say she don't deserve that. That's me. She don't deserve him. That's all I'm gonna say. He would give her the world. She ain't ready for it. She's not ready for it. She needs to figure out Bree first. But she then states that you really love me for me, the good, bad, and the ugly. He then says at this point, he just gets happy about simple texts that she sends him. Like, he just loves her. Like, he loves her. But he continues to pour into her. She ends up asking him if he feels ready for marriage. And he's like, yeah, I am. She then starts talking about his house, his car, his clothes, him wearing what he wears, presenting himself, of course, being critical, telling him like, you got to have pride in it. It makes me feel like you're lazy. And I'm like, she then states that she feels like there's no pride, no hustle, no grit. There's nothing about you that I feel like makes me think that you really wanted as much as I wanted. And she's like, it made me feel like, who is this guy? Is he going to be a liability? I'm so used to having an alpha, being the leader of me and whatnot, telling me he's going to make 5 times more than me, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I said, if you are ready to leave, just fucking say that. Just say that. Because I'm like, clearly, all that shit that you claim that you had in the past, clearly it didn't work. Because you were single when you came on the show to meet Connor. So maybe you needed something different. Maybe you needed somebody that didn't have all of that energy. Maybe you needed a calming spirit like Connor because you too crazy. You too antsy. You too, like, she do too much. People like her need people like Connor. People that are going to bring her back down to earth, but she don't realize that. But I'm like, at this point, stop bitching. And it rubbed me the wrong way because it's like he's literally pouring into her and she's still criticizing him. And I'm like, you already knew you didn't want Connor back in Cancun. Or Cabo, wherever the fuck y'all were in Mexico. You should have ended it then. You sitting here playing with this man. That shit pissed me off. But, and I'm like sitting here talking about, you saying all this shit. Why don't you go talk to Chris? Because everything that you're stating now is what Chris was telling you. And she's sitting there with her nasally nose. I said, go blow your fucking nose. But she then says, the energy isn't what I'm used to. And she starts stating all this word salad and stuff. You know how she gets to talking. It's like, get to the point. But he then says, people think that I don't care because, like, I'm not materialistic. I don't have all these materialistic things, even though I would love some of those things. And that's why I work as hard as I do. But some people just see, like, the keg outside and just think that they know what's going on with me and I haven't cleaned anything up. They just think that they know too much about me. I just don't like talking about myself. I like listening more, AKA he's somebody that's actually going to be present. Somebody that's going to be present. But he then says, I mean, you seem more of me, and I'm glad that you took the time because not everybody does. And I felt bad hearing him stating this, knowing what's about to happen. But she then says that her dad was like, maybe you've just been choosing the wrong guys all along. Like all of that stuff that you claimed that you felt like you needed, maybe that's not what you needed. Like I just said, she needs somebody like Connor. And she starts talking about that stuff, being all complimentary and stuff. I'm like, okay, so are you not going to end it with him? So she starts going through that, talking about she's been so critical and she lost sight of what the concept of love is blind is. Connor's smiling and stuff because he's thinking, okay, well, maybe that's what she was thinking. And maybe she's now realized through the experience that I might be what she needs. He's smiling. She then starts complimenting how hard he's worked and shown up for her. Word salad. She then says, am I ready to walk down the aisle? No. If I was today, it would be a no. I said, get the fuck out of his face. Because at this point, you playing in his face. And it was pissing me off. But Connor says at this point, he would have said yes. He was like, I would have said yes. I would have been open about it. And she says, like, what the fuck am I doing? I said, goodbye. Get out of his face. Stop doing this. Like, go be with Chris. That's what you wanted. Go be with Chris. It's clear that's what you wanted. But she then says at this point, if we get through this, I said, if we get through this, no. You've literally berated this man basically the entire experience. There's nothing more that needs to be said. So she then hopes that it's not a no forever. He ends up asking if she sees himself marrying. He ends up asking her if she sees herself marrying him someday. And she was like, I mean, I hope. And I said, kind of run, go find Jessica. They would actually be a good fit together, personality wise, just human decency wise. He states that he wouldn't change it for the world, basically. And she asked to sit on the couch, and they're sitting on the couch. And she states that she hates, pretty much stating that she's not ready to marry him, getting him with the word salad again. And he then says, I mean, at this point, I would have freaked out if anybody would have said this before. He's talking about all this stuff, just still telling her like he loves her, even though all of this stuff is what she's stating. But she asks why it's so different now. And he says, because of how much I know that we love each other. He says, I'm still optimistic. And I know that you won't run because you've proven that you would be here for me. And I said, her face is telling you that she's about to run. She's trying to run. But I feel for him. I feel bad for him. I hope he's moved on now in present day because she don't deserve him. She don't deserve him. He's too good of a person. But he ends up getting emotional in his confessional, talking about how much he loves her and still is hopeful that one day they'll get married. And he tells us that he's getting emotional, and I hated it for him. But you deserve better than her, Connor. I'm telling you. But we get to one day to the wedding. The boys, they have their bachelorette party at this Monster Jam. The girls are at the casino. Nothing too eventful. Amber seemingly is having Jordan meet Emma the day of the wedding, like I stated. But yeah, we get to Emma and Mike's wedding. They're the first wedding that we see, which is ending the episode. So Emma's in there at the venue getting ready with her sister and her best friend. She's talking about how comfortable and free Mike makes her feel. And he's arriving to the venue. He got his friends there. He's talking about being nervous because he doesn't know if she's going to say yes or no. His parents come in. Well, not his parents. His mom and his sister come in to greet Emma as she's getting ready with her sister and her best friend. She starts crying, talking about Emma. She starts crying because she's so happy and calm. I'm like, them tears don't look like, I don't know. Them tears didn't look like happy tears to me. They look like, I don't know what I'm going to do tears. But his mom ends up asking how her parents are. And she was like, they love Mike and he makes me comfortable in my skin. And at this point, it's a big decision, but I feel good. So Mike's now dressed with his boys and they toast into his future. His parents then join him as the boys are gone at this point. And they're sitting there talking to him and whatnot. His dad is letting him know, like, mom saw Emma and stuff. And she's pretty much telling him, like, she looked beautiful. And they sit down and mom tells him that, like, I'm concerned about you because when you stressed out, I'm stressed out. When you're upset, I'm upset. And she was like, every time I called, you had a little bit of an attitude. Because he don't know if he don't know if Emma wants to have kids, even though he already knows she don't want to have kids. He wants to hear that answer. He ain't heard, yes, I'm going to have your kids. Which is why y'all shouldn't be getting married. But they state that they just want him to be happy. He's looking nervous because, like I just said, he wants to know if they're going to be having kids. But he then tells us that he would love to hear her say yes because that means that she wants what? Kids. You and them damn kids. But Emma's now dressed. She looks pretty. She's with her mom and her sisters and her best friend. The wedding begins. Mike and his mom, they walk him down to the altar. Emma comes in with her parents and Mike is telling her how beautiful she is. The officiant starts the wedding. Mike starts stating his vows. He's talking about how open she's been, pretty much wanting to know if they're going to start a family. And I'm like, you already knew. They trip me out. But he's like, it's not fair for her to pretty much have to choose right now, even though he knows that she's been thinking about having a family and whatnot. But one of the things that he loves most about her is the fact that they've been able to communicate. And he can't wait to see what their future looks like and what it holds for them. So she then states her vows and she's stating her reason. And she's like, you are my reason. Like, you're my reason for being here. You made me feel safe, seeing comfortable. Same old shit that she always says. So the officiant then asks if Emma will take Mike to be her husband. She takes a deep sigh like she's in deep thought. But she then starts talking as if she about to say no. So she then says, I mean, I've been thinking a lot about the decision. There's a lot of things that we still need to go through, whether that's today or 2 years from now. His mom was shaking her head like, don't you dare do this shit. And then Emma circles it back around and states like, I can't see a future without you. I love you. And that's a yes. And I'm like, is that a yes to you having kids? But the efficient then asked Mike, because Mike was nervous the whole time she was talking. But she then asked Mike, does he take Emma to be his wife? And it's a deep sigh and it's a cliffhanger. I don't know. I feel like Mike might say no. And that would be interesting. That would be interesting. Because I feel like he probably going to say something where he going to end up asking her a direct question. Are you going to have kids? Imagine that shit happening. I wouldn't doubt it. I would not put it past Mike to ask her in front of all them people, are you going to have, you need to tell me today if you're going to have my kids. Dummy. But that's the episode, y'all. Y'all let me know what y'all think. Get in the comments, hype the video, share the video, subscribe if you're new. We got the rest of the weddings next week, and we almost done. I'm going to see y'all then. If you watch Traders, you're going to see me tonight for the reunion. House of Villains. I'm going to do 1 through 3 this weekend because, like I said, I'm going to that concert tomorrow. But I'll see y'all then. Peace.